will turn shortly, just bear with me. But no, I've watched quite a few of your videos now, every now and again. I think, oh, I've done everything I've got to do. It's still an hour before I want to go to bed, but there's a couple of videos. I can go around and think, oh, have you lived in Tring long?
30 years.
So you need someone that's like me, that's lived in there all their life, to go and say, this used to be a wine stores. This used to be an old school.
Yes.
Just there was, when I was a kid, was the pen and wine stores. It was there for years. Everyone used to go there because it was cheaper than everywhere else in all the pubs. But then there was no other wine shops anywhere in the town, so you couldn't get wines, sherries and spirits.
Yes.
So
where was that?
Hot peanuts.
Which
Go in
building?
there's a kid and buy a bag of hot peanuts.
Which building was that?
If you stand looking out from the King's Arms,
Yeah.
you've got a few houses to your right as they go up down King Street.
Yes.
There's one or two houses set back, and then the first one that sits out used to be the pen and wine stores before you get to Charles Street, is it? No, Henry Street. And then as you come out a bit further along and you come up Henry Street, just opposite there's a building that goes back, I think it's now painted yellow and has wisteria on it.
Yes.
That used to be Gravelly's school. And my mother's partner used to go to school there, and they used to have they only had spoons. He said, we never had knives and forks, it was only ever spoons for lunch. And you'd eat your steak and kidney pie or whatever it was, and then they'd say, now children, lick your spoons clean, ready for dessert. He said, it's not like now, you go and get your knife and fork and go back and get a spoon for your pudding. You had to use the same implement, and everyone kept it in their desk so that no one passed each other's germs on. He used to go to school.
There used to be a tuck shop, which is a sweet shop in Aikman Street.
Oh, what ball shop's that?
It's next. It was used to be the chip shop. It's next door to the chip shop.
Oh right, yeah,
So,
that was what do we call her? The soup dragon. Used to go in there. Used to do all they did lovely egg and cress rolls in there. Everyone used to come and get egg and cress rolls. They were lovely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I think what her name was now. But yeah, some of the things that when I think about Tring now, when I was a kid and going round, and all the places that were little spinneys or open fields that are now just full up with houses. And Tring used to end. I live in Rosebery Way. Tring used to end at 8 acres basically, and then there was nothing but fields until you got down to New Road and the start of New Mill. So they were almost two separate entities. I can remember going with a few friends with a lad saying, if you come and ask me mum, she might let me come. But she goes, where is it you want to go? He said, where's New Mill? I've never heard of it. We said, just the other side of the tree. And is that a walking distance? And yeah. Well, as he's with you older lads, but make sure he's back by 6 o'clock for his tea. He said, okay. But people, in Tring didn't even know where New Mill was, a lot of them we knew at the time. We used to come to the edge of 8 acres, climb over a fence, walk through a couple of fields to meet our friend at the feeder at Brook Street, to go and catch little fish and sticklebacks and things.
Wow.
Yeah, so much has changed around Tring over the years. There was a company, there's a few companies, there were a few local builders, they all got together. So you got a couple of blokes, you buy a house and do it up and sell it, we do the same, they do the same. Why don't we get together and have a bigger buying power so we can buy a bigger bit of land and build on and build more houses and make more money? So 3 or 4 local builders, maybe 4 or 5 even, got together, formed a company called Amalgamated Builders, and literally bought up over the next few years, bought up every little corner of land and in between houses that wasn't built on, and little spinneys and fields, and just basically filled up Tring everywhere you can see now with all the houses that are there. I was just watching your one where you came down, I think it was either Langdon Street or Henry Street, one of them, turned out the bottom and came along going towards the Anchor. I'm looking at the shops because I thought, there used to be a television shop and a television shop right next to each other. One had a great big massive clock on the wall outside, so whenever we walked to school or back we could see if we were late going to school by the clock on there. Oh my God, it's 5:02, we should be speeding up or we're going to be late. So you came down the bottom and then turned to go towards the Anchor along the main road. And I thought, opposite there, where the post office is now, when I was a kid, that was the bus station, yes. Tring bus station. Yeah. And then turn back the other side of the road, what is now opposite the Paco Chinese, there's an estate that goes up. that used to be, for the first about 50 yards, just a little overgrown bit of land with a few trees on it. And then to the back of that was the slaughterhouse, which you came in from King Street. It's now, the slaughterhouse was knocked down and all those houses were built there. But a lot of people say, no, there was a slaughter. Was there? Where was that? Just here. And with my daughter, we were walking yesterday, and she said, I want to go somewhere different with the dog, because she's been 18 months now going everywhere. I said, we haven't been up really, up past Watermill School, that's all new. Last time we were there it was all scaffolded. So let's go up and have a look at that, because that'll bring back childhood memories of when I was at school there. So then we walked back down the back way. She goes, we came down towards Brook Street, the Pheasant pub on the corner. My brother ran that for a bit. She said, yeah, of course the pub's gone now. She said, someone said there used to be a garage. I said, yeah, Brook Street garage, Grove garage used to be, I think it was here. Yeah, but the gap doesn't look quite big enough. I'm sure the garage had a bigger frontage and we walked a bit. I said, no, this is it here. And even me having to think back now. But she said, oh, and what? I said, yeah, Grove Garage, it was there all the time I was growing up. It was great when I lived in New Mill, because if you wanted something, there was an old school garage. So you could go there and say, have you got parts for an old 1960 or 70 Allegro or Austin Maxi or whatever they were? Oh, you might have. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have to drive miles trying to find it. So,
forgot about all that kind of thing.
I think it was Charles Street and through West Passage. I thought, somewhere around that West Passage. Even I'm having a job to remember. And I actually asked my mum last weekend when I went up to see her Sunday for lunch. I said, Mum, what do I think about it? Muriel, who lived at the top of our road, one of my best friends when I grew up's mother, she worked at a place and all they did was sew arms on coats or legs or put zips in things. That's all they did. But there was about a dozen or more women worked in something like a shed, not much bigger than this, all sat at sewing machines. And we used to have to go there and knock on the door and go in and go and see his mum and say, can he have some money for sweets, or is it all right if he goes to the woods with his friends? But we'd go there and then, somewhere my mum said, oh yeah, that was round by that west. I think you went into West Passage and it was sort of behind the houses. So that's what I was thinking, but where? I walked there recently and can't spot it. She said, no, but there was somewhere there. And then she said, and there used to be a couple of shops on that. I said, I remember one shop all boarded up and was never open, and a place next to it that could have been a shop that was even more derelict. She goes, yeah, that was the two shops. And on the corner, so that was the co-op. She goes, oh, you remember the co-op? And there used to be a co-op on the corner. She said, yes. Margaret, she worked at the co-op as a 16, 18-year-old girl. She said, and when you were being born, me, she said, I couldn't get out so much because I was like this, and it was cold and winter and icy, and she used to live up the same close as me mum. She'd come and knock on the door in the morning, anything you want, Glenys, that I'll bring back when I come back at lunchtime. And she'd also knock again, is there anything you forgot that I'll bring back this evening when I come back? She said, and she worked there as a young girl at the co-op and used to bring all my food back for me.
Oh, that's...
She said, and you know? I said, no, I didn't know that. Oh, that must have closed down or been redeveloped before you were born then. But my mum's quite good at it. I started seeing so many places disappear that have been there for 20 or 30 years as I was growing up, and all of a sudden in the space of 4 or 5, that's gone now, that's gone now, that's gone, and things started disappearing really quickly.
At the time you take it for granted.
And I thought everywhere's becoming the same, you know, Costa, Kentucky, all the individual high streets now you look down, they look the same apart from maybe slightly different shape or different curve of the road. But otherwise they all look the same with the same shops.
Absolutely right.
Tring stayed quite original for a long time compared to Aylesbury and Birkhamsted.
Absolutely right,
So I thought someone should go round and go, this that's now boarded up, but as you can see was a garage or was a baker's, it's now to be redeveloped to where it's told into 6 or 8 houses or whatever.
That's why I nipped to the White Lion at Marsworth to try and get it before something's going to happen to that. I don't know whether they're going to...
And the same with the Rose and Crown, which used to be up at Harrogate. I watched that one as well.
I know, I nipped up there expecting it just... Because it was the last time I went
to
Cheshire.
When you went up, I thought, last time I was up there, it was looking in the right state. I thought, oh my God, it's here, but it's not, it's gone.
I know, I wasn't even sure. I thought, because there's a house blocking it as you come along, and I went to a park, and then I was like, oh, it's not even there, so I'm too late for this one. But I also went down to the Trooper, at Albury, and there was a guy working on the roof there, so it doesn't even look like a pub now, but I don't know what.
When you drove up the side of the cow roast, and John is here was saying, "No, don't, it's getting worse. I think you should stop and turn." I was thinking, "No, you can get through, or you could get through years ago."
No, the thing is, it was slippery.
Yeah.
And you can't actually tell. You can't
Turn
tell.
round, no.
You can't tell from the video, but actually my wheels are slipping, and John's saying turn round here, and I'm like, I can't actually turn around here because if I go, I'm going to get stuck in that slippery that bit. So if I turn around here, I'm going to get stuck in there. I start reversing. I think John thinks I'm reversing, but no.
Going for a run up it.
I go for a run at it, and then I keep going. I think, oh, I keep going. He's like, turn back now, turn back now.
Yeah, no, it's good. I can remember we went up there, we got through up there, but maybe it's all changed and closed off now. They just kind of, yeah, that's right, there's houses, and you got the left. Yeah, that's it. And you come out by the motorway bridge there somewhere. Yeah, it's still open.
He'd already told, because I was looking on the map, and so I was looking for the road. I didn't remember a road going up there, and he said no, it's a bridle path. So I thought, well, we'll give it a go.
Yeah, we had all Watermill there until down there at one of the welding places that used to be around the back, and he said, "Oh yeah, you're interested with the watermill, yeah? Have you ever seen the watermill where I work?" I said, "Well, you work on the estate of Brook Street, yeah? Why is there a watermill there?" And I didn't even think about it. The stream that appears just below that actually runs under the estate. I thought, he said, "Yeah, that stream at the back of the houses here." I said, "Yeah, it starts up by the tennis courts, just down below what's the co-op now." "Yeah," he goes, "but it runs all the way." I said, "Oh, of course it does, yeah, it just comes out of the thing." But, And he said, "It starts right back up by the Memorial Gardens." So that's where it runs through. That the land all funnels into a little valley sort of there, and it flows down Brook Street.
In one of the history
So he
books.
said, "I'll arrange with the chap that's got the unit."
Yeah.
And so he took me down there one day and said, "Oh, hello, mate." And he came and took us down and opened up this old cranky, old rusty, old padlock on this old gate. I said, "There it is, there. Wow. Blimey, it's twice the size of a house." I think, if I remember right, it wasn't much wider, or roughly the same width, but it was 16 or 18 foot, I think, in diameter, a lot bigger.
Wow. You're interested to find out.
But I've got a vague recollection that now, I'm sure he said, "Oh, you were lucky you saw the wheel when you did, because it's either now you can't get to it to see it, they built, kind of enclosed it or something, or they took it out." He said, "But you're lucky you came and saw it when you did, because you can't see it now, it's gone now."
One of the history books, they've got the mill pond with a little boat in it.
Oh right, so
It's like a rowing boat.
maybe it did have a mill pond there, yeah.
But I assume the mill pond has been built on by, there's some, houses down there. But no, that's really interesting.
Oh no, yeah, no. What am I thinking? Yes, there is a mill pond. It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah. If you stand at the entrance going into that industrial estate,
Yeah.
back to the left, there's a little bit you can go in where the astronomy
Yes,
is,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
just to the other side of that is a martial arts studio.
Right.
That goes into what we called Finch's Orchard, and that whole bit between the recreation ground field at the back, where the wall runs all the way along the back path,
Yeah.
between that wall and the main road, that whole triangle section from Brook Street Industrial Estate right up to the back of the fire station was a big orchard,
Yeah.
and the mill pond is literally right up against the building, so it's probably still there. We used to, when you said about mill pond, I said, no, it suddenly hit me. No, the mill pond's there. We used to play down there, and kids go in there in boats and go scrumping around the orchard.
Wow, okay.
Some of the best pears I've ever tasted come from there. When they started building that estate, they left one or two of the original trees there in gardens, and we would talk. He said, "No, it's got to be that house. Should we knock on the door? They might not like pears. I'm like, can we have some pears from your tree?" We used to come when it was an orchard.
It's great. That's the local history. I mean, now that's been lost, that orchard, but it'd be great to catch that as a reminder. Actually, there was orchards.
Yeah, literally from
right
where
near
the fire station ends, as you went round the bend, all to your left was just an orchard, all the way down to the start of that Brook Street Industrial Estate.
Yeah. Wow.
And there used to be a little hole in that flint wall at the back that all the kids used to go through. I called Finch's Orchard, And then when her family moved out of that house, no one ever moved in, and it was abandoned for years. So all the kids used to go down there and sit in there and make camps in the old house and in the lake and that. So yeah, now I don't remember a mill pond. Now thinking about it, yes, there was. It's probably still there. Years later, when I was a teenager, we used to go in there and we had a camp in there, in this old disused abandoned building. Behind it was like a big hole in the ground at the bottom of the, which would now be probably where the dentist is at the back of Marks and Spencer's. There's a big hole in the ground, and then there was some car parking up to the church. People used to dump old cars in that car park. It was a regular place where if you had an old car and it ran out of MOT and tax, you just drive it there and eventually the council would take it away. But one day there was an old car in there, we pushed it up to the top of the hill, and we just wanted to roll down it in there, and as we drove, but we had to hold the clutch down to get it to move because it was stuck in gear. We pushed it to the top of the hill. Chap who was a couple of 3 years older than me, he was about 17 at the time, or 16, and he'd been learning to drive. I've taken driving lessons, I'm driving. And he was a bit older, no one argued with him, so he got into driving seat, pushed the clutch down to let it start rolling, and we got about halfway down on the steepest part of the slope. For some reason, he let the clutch back up again. So we're going down. And all of a sudden, the engine fired up on full throttle. And we shot down the hill and rammed into the back of the old shop.
Wow,
Dented the wall and loosened some of the brick. Oh my God. Me and one or two of the others, that were probably 12, 13 at the time, were a bit, oh God, you know, this is a bit dodgy. Mum and Dad are going at it, so we sort of retreated and left the older lads to it, but they were possessed then. It runs! So they were possessed to push it up, but they couldn't. They tried half a dozen times. Come on lads, help us push it up. So we helped them push it up, but then when they got in it to drive, we got out of the way because Mum and Dad said, what were you doing getting in the car with older lads and driving around? So we kept out of the way. They tried about half a dozen times, but now that's all gone. It's all budgeons and dentists around the back. When I think back of all the memories.